in somewhere. So New Jersey, and 15 years,
Yeah, 15.
still
Yeah.
15. Yeah, cool. And now you're in high school,
Yes, sophomore year. I have to do virtual
sophomore
learning
year.
because of the whole COVID situation and everything.
Yeah, that's shit. That's shit. So you're not seeing any friends, or maybe now and then,
No,
couple?
stuck in the
No, not at
house.
all. That's shit. That's shit. Yeah, right. I just bought your course, by the way. I didn't. I don't know if you saw that, but
Yeah, I did. I saw
now I know all your secrets.
it.
Very good. Very good. So, I saw in the course that you started selling candy in school
Yeah,
when you were in junior high.
yeah, I did.
Why did you come up with that for making money?
Well, when I was in junior high, so like eighth grade, I would say I just wanted to do something more than just just school. Like I would go to the building and just like be a little bored at like there's something so much more that I could do. So I decided one day, hey, why not sell candy? Now I had a partner in the eighth grade, so like I was selling candy with someone else. But after that summer, that's when I started to get into business myself because school ended and I was like, what am I gonna do now to make money? But because it was like the last couple months of school that I was selling candy. I only made like $50, $100 profit because it was like only a month, but it was really fun and it like taught me some like you know the basics of scale sales. Being 14,
Huh?
being able to understand how people would want to buy, why people would want to buy at that age. It was just that's probably why.
It's interesting. How do you decide what candy to buy and sell, and at what prices?
Well, it was all so at first this was actually really fun because I didn't want to buy anything that people wouldn't buy. So I asked a bunch of people who were in my classes and all the people who were around in the school and I asked them, "Hey, I want to take an order. I want to like stock up on some things. What do you think you guys would buy? What do you think you guys would want?" So I took some orders first and then the next weekend I went and bought all this stuff. And then I came back and I sold it and then people were like, "You have candy, you have, food that you're selling, where can I get some more?" And I'm like, okay, this is gonna take off. And that's when I started to sell some more.
That is so funny. So you actually took pre-orders. You didn't really take a risk. Well, you
Yeah,
went out, asked around, what will people buy?
yeah,
Okay, you bought the stuff, and then you got a name for like the candy person. I want candy from you, and so people started talking. What happened?
yeah. So it was like people started saying, "Oh, Nitty has candy," and her partner. I don't want to say the partner's name right now, but her partner and her sell candy. So if you ever need anything, go to them. And it's like because there was a corner store right by the school, so like people would like my one question to myself was like, why would people want to buy from us rather than going to that corner store? Because we're doubling our
Exactly.
prices either way. So then I think, well, in middle school, in elementary school, in junior high, because our school was pre-K to eighth grade. It was everyone was together, all age ranges. So it was like those kids, we can't leave the building during the school day, and kids want to eat. Sometimes they don't bring things to school, so they can't leave and go to the corner store. They have to wait till the end of the day. So giving selling on that urge to want to have that snack or food during school, that's what allowed us to actually win because it was like because they weren't able to go outside and get that.
That's cool. That's cool. That's really cool. Funny. And so yeah, so it was really like, yeah, how do you say that? It's a spur of the moment thing.
Yeah,
It's really an impulse buy for them. That people saw someone buy candy and then they thought, hey, I want that as well, and
yeah,
so money came in. That's
exactly.
cool. But then school ended, and your money making machine dried up.
Yeah.
What happened then?
So I was, in June and it started to end because I had to graduate and all that sort of stuff to get to high school. So there was no more, I remember selling the last piece of candy and we were like, okay, that's it because, school was ending. So I came home one week in June. This was 2019. Yeah. So it was like June 2019. I just graduated and I'm going to high school. And that summer, I decided to go on my computer exactly where I'm sitting right now, exactly like with the same computer. I went on YouTube and I searched up how to make money online. I think like a lot of people start that way.
Literally.
And
That's so funny.
I looked up how to
Cool.
make money online. And I'm just like a complete newbie because I didn't have any social media. I didn't know anything about social media. I was one of those kids that were completely off of social media. I didn't have it.
You didn't have Facebook?
No, nothing. So
Nothing. That's
yeah,
funny.
so I was like completely off of social media, and I decided, you know what, let me get on, YouTube and start learning from these people. And I started seeing affiliate marketing, drop shipping. There's just a whole bunch of things that a bunch of gurus are trying to teach. And it's like, what do I go down? Yeah.
Gurus.
Like, what do I go down? What do I do? But I think over time there was this one guy, his name is Iman Gaji, and he taught, like, I learned a lot from him when it comes to social media marketing. But overall, instead of trying to like listen and tune in to what each of these people have to say, what I understood was that each of these people have one thing in common. And that one thing is that they all have a personal brand, and that's why they're putting content out. And from that personal brand, from that content, they're allowed to stem down into different niches which interest them because it's a personal brand, right? So then they can sell on top of that whatever interests them, or whatever target audience they, attract, so that they can market their own products out there based off their niche and their interests. So I was like, you know what? I wanted to get into social media marketing with Facebook ads and helping all a bunch of like business owners do all this sort of stuff. But I was like 14 and I had no idea what I was doing with Facebook, and I had no idea how to even run Facebook. I remember this other day I went on Facebook, didn't even know how to change my banner. Like I didn't know anything
Nice.
about social media. So I was like, okay, take a step back. If you don't know how to do it, you need to learn the skill. But then I'm like, everyone's doing Facebook ads. Why am I forcing myself to do something that I know I really can't do, because I can learn it, but I really wasn't interested. My heart wasn't there. So I just took my time with it. I said I'm 15 and 14. I'm just gonna take my time with it. And I started an Instagram account, and I just started to put out content out there. I started to put content out there every single day. And then when I started to post these videos, they started to go viral. There was these motivational videos. I'm not one to like, but I was like a personal development type person. I still am. And I was posting these motivational videos, and for 30 days consecutively, they weren't taking off. They had like 100 views maybe, and like after 60 days, then I started to get like 10,000 views, 20,000 views, 50,000 views. And it was just crazy. It
Wow.
was crazy because then I'm like, what's happening to my page? Why is it blowing up all of a sudden? The followers start coming in, and my Instagram page starts to blow up. And now people are coming to me asking me, how'd you do it? How'd you build an Instagram page? How are you able to build your page? And especially because it wasn't a theme page. It's kind of difficult to some people to grow organically when it comes to um, a personal brand. So that's when I decided to go down, the personal brand route, and just build my name and just put out content based off my experience. And I needed that experience first, going out of that summer and into Instagram from there.
What changed? Because the first 30 days you saw no traction at all, and then 60 days, 90 days, then all of a sudden things started to blow up. Was it you posted better videos or hashtags or just consistency? What
I
was it?
think it was consistency, and that's why I always preach consistency so much. I think it was just, I was using hashtags. The hashtags were blowing it up because on Instagram you can see the insights and how many people see what where. But I think it was really just consistency. You keep putting it out every single day, people are going to keep promoting it. So that's why I always preach consistency is key.
Hmm, interesting. And so 30 days of consistency isn't enough. 60 days wasn't really enough yet. So you have to do 90 days on Instagram.
Yeah, I mean, it's different for everyone, It's like I was posting these motivational videos that literally go viral. If you mock viral content anywhere on any social media platform, you know this. Like any social media platform, if you mock anything that's bound to go viral and tends to go viral already, it'll go viral, right? So with Instagram, you have to test out different graphics, test out what works, what doesn't, what type of videos work, what captions work. And if you're able to mock that based off bigger pages and what bigger pages are already doing, then it should be easier to, go viral less than 90 days. Like, a lot of people see 90 days and think that's a lot, but, it just depends on how skilled you are to create that high quality content, and just speed, speed and
Hmm.
efficiency with that.
Okay, can you give me an example of what you did through one of the videos?
Yeah, so pretty much I was what I did was I was like completely new at Instagram, so I'm like I was creating content before that, carousel posts and stuff like that, infographics, but my infographic skills weren't the best. So I'm like, you know what, let me repost a video. And it was like these movie scenes that you see sometimes with like captions on it and that people can see, it's like
Yep.
60-second videos. And I posted this one 60-second video at first, and then I started posting one after school every single day. And I would post it like when my dad would pick me up. I would get in the car and I would just type up the caption, post it at like 3 o'clock every day, and I would so it was these. For an example, it would be like just a movie clip or like a motivational speaker speaking on, TED Talk or whatever it may be, with a caption on it, and I would just keep putting one out every single day.
Hmm. And how did you find these videos? And you cut them all on your mobile to 60 seconds and then added a caption. It was all on your cell phone?
Yeah, so like I didn't know at the moment how to post on your computer because Instagram really doesn't give you that option to post on a computer. But yeah, I would go into my phone every single day, find these videos, and most of them were reposts, but they were motivational videos. So I would give like the credit to the person who actually had these repost videos, and I would post it, but I would also in the caption give my own little insight about what's being spoken about, write about what I, got from the video, what everyone who's watching can get from the video, and just repost that every single day. And the hashtags were different every day. So it would take a lot of time. It was a very tedious process to have to do all this on your phone, but it was definitely worth it.
Funny. And so, how did you decide what hashtags to use?
So I, like I said, I was a complete newbie and knew nothing about it. I was like going into this with no skill, and I was like, what am I doing? But I was like, you know what, consistency will pay off, even though I knew nothing about it. And I'm like, you know what, hashtag success, hashtag successful entrepreneurs, just random hashtags and see what works. That's why I always say when people ask me about hashtags, I never want to complicate it for people. I'll give them the whole strategy and give them the whole blueprint. But like, when it comes to hashtags, they work differently for everyone, right? So it's like you have to just experiment based off your own content type and your own, your own belief. If that makes sense. Like whatever you think will
Hmm.
work in it, and then when it starts to work, you copy that. Pretty much mock success.
And so, in your ebook, you talk about use 30 hashtags, use them all. Um, and have you figured out a system now, or are you still experimenting, or do you use like a hashtag search engine, or how do you work?
So I wrote that ebook in August, and in August, I obviously grew from then to now, and understanding that 30 hashtags is the maximum, and I've been using 30 since the very beginning. But I've heard recently that you should only use 18 to 24. And that's what I've been tweeting about just recently. And I'm creating a new course to explain all the, recent things. I'm going to take down my ebook soon. And, the hashtags that you should use is only 18 to 24, because when it comes to Instagram, they can mark you as spammy. Instagram for some reason is disabling a bunch of accounts for no reason, so you want to be very, very careful. So 18 to 24 is really the sweet spot where you want to be. And I would say my personal system is I have a Notion. I used to use Evernote, but I have a Notion now. And I would write all the hashtags that I'm going to use. And I have three sets. So, three sets of 18 to 24 hashtags each. And I'll copy and paste. At the end of each month, I create my content for the following month. I don't do it every day because it's more efficient. And when I schedule, I copy and paste the hashtags that I have set in the three to four sets in Notion onto Facebook Creator Studio, where I schedule the content, and it's easier that way instead of having to type it out.
Yeah, interesting, interesting. So, wow. And so your Instagram journey started with just reposting videos, motivational
Mhm.
videos, and then after 2 3 months, you started seeing traction. What did you do then?
So after 2 to 3 months, I started seeing traction, and then I'm like, you know what? These are reposts. This is my personal brand. I want to post my name, right? I want to post what I can create, not just what someone created and I reposted, right? So I mean, it can hurt any brand, reposting some other brand's content. So I'm like, you know what? Let me get on this. How can I create content with my name on it? So I start going into this sector, because yet this is still the time where I did not teach anyone about Instagram. This was still the time I was just into personal development still. So I decided, why not go on Canva and start creating these infographics where I would put like a picture of like a famous person on it, or like, like Jeff Bezos, for example, or something, someone like that, or a movie scene picture. And I would do like a little line and then a quote, and then my name on the bottom in like a signature type thing. So I would post that, but I would post videos with it, and my page was just blowing up. Because the thing with that is that when you post famous people like on your pictures, or you use some a famous person for a thumbnail, you're bound to go viral because it's called a hero post. When you post a hero post on Instagram, you're bound to go viral because it people are attracted to what is already famous. You know what I mean? So it's like I
Yeah.
was posting, um that's what I was posting, and that's when I decided to, go into that, to go into the infographics.
Interesting. And so you saw even more traction with like the hero shots.
Yeah, so I was posting the hero post, and that's when it started to go even faster. So because the motivational videos already had famous people in it, that's why it was going viral. I didn't know at the time why were these videos going viral, but now I know it's because they had famous people in it, and that's why. Because if you just post a random video of yourself, sometimes you're not bound to go viral. But once you have that audience base that you built, you can use that to promote yourself now. Because I always had my profile picture, I always had my face on it. In my stories, I would always post my face. I would never post, just like theme pages would post just quotes and stuff. I always posted my face to make sure that people knew who was behind the page, and not just a bunch of random infographics and hero posts. But hero posts were definitely taking off the page.
Interesting. All right. And so your post was growing. You got a little bit hang of, what worked and what didn't. And then how did the candy money you earned, how was that replaced with your Instagram money?
So the candy earned money was like $50 to $100. I remember writing into a document that I said to myself, I said, "Wow, I really just earned $60," and it was a lot to me because I never earned before, right? And it's because like in society we're told to like trade our time for money. And it's like, how about I trade a sale for money, and it's like when I learned that,
Yeah.
that's when everything started to take off. And replacing that with, now I'm earning five figures from Instagram. I'm on my road to earning six now. Going into 2021, I want to touch six figures, especially with this new project I got
Cool.
coming out. IG Empire, Instagram Empire is going to be a community of people. I have a bunch of success stories from my ebook, and a bunch of students that are, excited to get on it. So I'm really excited to release that. But yeah, going from $60 to five, near six figures is really exciting.
Cool. Cool. But and so, your page started getting traction. What was like the first thing you started monetizing?
So I was on the internet for a year before I put out my first product, right? And I didn't start making money until after 1 year, which was August, 20 2020, yeah, August 2020, this year. I put out my first product, which was the ebook. But before that, I made $27. Before that, I made $27 on the internet. I made one logo for $20 on Canva, and I made a little Canva tutorial for some other guy for $7. And after that, I was like, let me just focus on content and actually putting things out so I can charge higher ticket for something. And so August 2020 came along, and that's way after all those hero posts and stuff. And I'm like, you know what? Let me teach people. Let me teach some practicalities. Let me not just do personal development, because I want to actually be in the business sector. I don't want to just be a personal development person. And it's like, so that's when because I'm like, I have skill in Instagram. Why not? There's a bunch of people who are even on Twitter who struggle with Instagram and stuff like that. You find people everywhere who struggle with Instagram. So I'm like, let me just be that person that helps. So I put out my first product August 2020. That was the first thing I monetized.
Cool. Cool. And so that is also the only thing you've been monetizing since then, or have there been other things?
So besides that $27, and then the book coming out in August 2020, I started to earn more money through services. So there was this one lady who came to me, and I helped her in the very beginning. I gave her free meetings. I love to give for free in the beginning, especially because I wanted to take any opportunity I got. So I was like giving free meetings, helping people for free, and I was helping her like crazy. A year later, that lady comes to me, and she gifts me $500, and that was a lot to me. That was a lot to me because I'm like,
Cool.
that meant a lot to me, because I'm like, I never really thought I would charge even that much for a meeting or something. So I'm like, to help that woman, genuinely wanting to help that woman allowed that relationship to pay off in the long term. And she gave that to me. And from there, that's when my beliefs in, my abilities started to take off. And that was just recently. I think it was back in July, I think. And that's when my belief in myself started to take off, because then I'm like, you know what? I can charge people $500 for consulting services. Let me see if I can do this. So I started doing like content creation and stuff for like 350 to $500, and I had a couple clients there, $350 a month or so for 3 months. I was doing $500 services for content as well, and then I started to think to myself,
You also had a 2K offer or not? I
yeah.
saw one of your screenshots. Yeah.
Yeah, I the recent one I just got, uh I the highest I've ever charged for consulting, and I just closed that last week, was $3,000, which was pretty good accomplishment for myself, because I wanted to go into the new year.
Congrats.
Thank you. I wanted to go into the new year with a new client as well. So I'm really excited for that. But yeah, that's when I started to, when I got into content creation, then I'm like, you know what, I don't want to really be too hands on with it, because that was taking up a lot of time having to create content. It was really tedious. Even creating my own content takes a lot of time. So I'm like, how can I make this more time efficient, more efficient for, my clients? How can I, in any way be able to help them get the same results, but not be so hands on? Now, at the moment, I don't have any team to create content or anything like that. So what I decided was to go into the consulting route, like the consulting route. So I decided to, take on clients for, I was only going to charge $500 to $750. And then, Lawrence King, I'm sure you come across him on Twitter.
Yep.
He was my
Yep.
first high ticket client. He's the $2,000 guy, and I
Nice.
really really appreciated him, because I went he went to he wanted my help, so I DM'd him, and um he said, okay, how much do you charge? I'm like, $500. He's like, let's raise that to 2,000. I was like, I
What?
was like, what? I
Cool.
like paused for a second. I was like, what? And I was like, okay, let's do this then. And I'm like to myself, my services are worth $2,000. It's worth. I'm like, but then that's
At your age, I was like filling the shelves at like the Dutch Costco for I don't know $5 an hour. So I don't know what, but yeah. So that's a pretty good
I
upgrade.
appreciate that. And it's, I was then from there I got that $3,000 client, and from now I'm just gonna aim for five six figures going into 2021 consulting services. So yeah.
Nice, nice, cool. And so, what do you actually do when somebody pays you 2 or 3K or hopefully 5, 10K? What do I get?
So you get 3 months of mentorship, personal mentorship. I mentor you on growing your own personal brand. That's why I like to work with business owners, like not just some random people who, because especially like some random people, they may not be able to afford, $3,000, $5,000 worth of a mentorship. So I like to work with business owners who want to build their personal brand on Instagram, because a lot of people struggle with that. I can go through my Instagram right now and see a bunch of people from Twitter who own businesses, run businesses on Twitter, but they only have like 100, 200 followers on Instagram. So those are all people I would be willing to help, because they can grow their audience on there and even make even more money. And with Instagram, when you have authority on Instagram, it's easier to grow on any other platform. I noticed that with me,
Why?
because it's like, if you already have a social presence on another platform, I feel like it can help you. You can use that as leverage to grow on another platform. So if you think about it, like people who grow on Twitter, like if you have 100K followers, you can use that as a leverage to, promote your Instagram account, to promote, what you have on there. So when I was on Instagram and I have a big following on Instagram, I can promote my Twitter, because people are looking for that. They're like, Nitty, do you have any other social media platform? That's also why I got onto Twitter,
Yeah.
because I didn't want to just be solely on Instagram. And that's
And you've grown quite quickly on Twitter as well.
yeah, I mean, I started in June 2020, June 17th, I would say. So it's been a little over six
Wow.
months. Yeah.
Wow. And your account was created, I think, October
Yeah.
2019 or
Yeah.
something.
So I
Yeah.
create,
But then,
yeah.
And then why did you jump on the Twitter train? How did you grow your account?
So I created it in October 2019, but I knew nothing about Twitter. I'm like, how do you even reply to people? Like, what is this? So, so I just abandoned the account since like October 2019, and then I went back on it on June. And then I'm like, you know what? Let me see if I can grow on this platform because my Instagram was blowing up and I had just reached like 10K followers or something. So I'm like, you know what? Let me see if I can try to get on Twitter. Then I followed a couple people. I think I followed Dan Coe first. He was the first guy I followed. And then that's what led me into Money Twitter. And I'm like, oh, all these people are business owners. All these people are like interested in what I'm interested in. So I'm like, okay. And I follow a bunch of who he's following and a bunch of people, and I just follow, and then I start engaging with their content every single day. And then I learned, I started networking with more people. One of the guy, I think his name is Van, Aaron, and a bunch of other people like them. I started
Yeah,
networking with them, and that's when I started to actually take off with it because I'm like, wow, you can actually grow pretty easily on Twitter.
yeah, cool, cool. And did you get into any engagement groups or stuff like that? What's your growth secret?
So I didn't. I was added to like two engagement groups, but I never really used them because I didn't want to like make it like too, what's the word? I didn't want to make it to where I would have to like make it feel like a chore. I didn't want to make it feel like a chore. I wanted to just have
Yeah,
fun with it. I wanted to see if I can grow just enjoying it, right? Because engagement groups, you have to engage and you have to do all that. I didn't want it to make it feel like it's a job, like it's work. So I just honestly, I was just like obsessed with the platform because of how much information I was getting. I was like, wow, these people, Money Twitter has definitely upgraded my work ethic because everyone holds each other accountable. When you tweet something, you can hold yourself accountable, and everyone's just constantly growing. So you feel like you need to constantly grow with them. And that's what I love about Money Twitter is because it's just like everyone you're surrounded with. It's not just like when you're going to school and you're surrounded by a bunch of teenagers, you're surrounded by a bunch of people who are where you want to be in the future. Like you, for example, like even just talking to you, feeling that energy, feeling where you are and seeing like that inspires me, not just going to school and seeing my history teacher or something. Like I I like to see a bunch of people who are succeeding where I want to be and just try to work myself up there. So my growth
that's
tactic
very
was just
cool.
pretty much engage every day and just tweet every day, and that's pretty much it.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Simple, not easy.
no.
Okay, okay. Let's get back to Instagram. So, right now you're doing consultancy. Have you do you have any other accounts beside your own personal account? Have you tried any other stuff?
No, I don't have any other account besides my personal brand. I would have. I was thinking about starting my own infographic page and stuff like that because I'm like, you know what, I can showcase that as more work. But then I just recently got onto all this and getting more, products and consulting services. It would take too long for me to create more pages and build them up. So I'm helping other people do theirs so I can showcase that instead. Might as well put the time and effort into actual people who want actual help instead of building another page. But yeah, it's pretty much. I have thought about it, but decided it's just not too efficient for where I want to be.
Interesting. So let's say you have a decent following on Twitter. I don't know, anywhere between 5 and 10,000 followers, and you want to start on Instagram. What would you do?
So I would pretty much promote the Instagram page I already have. I start the Instagram page, optimize the bio, optimize the username, all the simple stuff that you do on Twitter, do the same on Instagram. Your profile picture, everything. And then you're gonna wanna promote that Instagram page onto Twitter so you can like tweet it, hey guys, I just started an Instagram page. Would you like to go and follow the Instagram page? And then people will go, especially if you have 50, 100K followers. That's a lot of followers. You'll get a lot of attraction, a lot of people, a lot of attention, a lot of eyes on it. So they can go follow that. You'll probably get a couple hundred a week if you keep doing it consistently. And on top of that, besides just promoting it on Twitter, you can use the Twitter content that you have. I see this with a lot of my clients is they use the Twitter content they have. They hire a content creator, one of the guys that I recommend, and the guy who does it, the guy who I recommend, he always puts their tweets into an infographic. So it's your own content into an Instagram infographic that's bound to already go viral. It's not you copying infographics from other infographic pages. It's like your actual content. So what I would do is just go onto Canva, create based off the tweets I already have, create an infographic with a little icon. Like you can use like money icons, you can use whatever pictures, little pictures that you want to use, and put your little quote in your tweet into the infographic and start posting that daily, and then promote your account further through bigger accounts. Just like you can grow on Twitter, where you shout people out, you can shout people out on Instagram by promoting, by getting reaching out to bigger accounts and getting promotions.
Yeah. And so let's say I want to outsource my content creation. How much would that set me back per post, or per, I don't know, per month? What do you get charged?
So it depends on the content creator you're taking on. Usually they're only a couple $100 a month or 2 months. So it's like they'll create 60 to 90 pieces of content for you for $350 or so. And that's really cheap in my opinion. Saves a lot of time. You can use that time to go make some more money or whatever you want to do. So I mean, if you can get that content and schedule it quick, and if you're not going down the route of 100% organic, you can be very efficient with it. If you don't have money, you have to go the organic route. But if you have money that you can spare, then you can go down the promotion route and get a bunch of promotions with people. And that's the thing, when I take on my clients, I teach them the organic methods, but I also teach them what's most efficient, which is the paid method. And I also promote them through my own account because I have 20K followers, so might as well push their account further, right? So the thing with
Yeah.
that is just it would just cost like a couple $100.
Hmm, interesting. But I guess you could take a couple, right? So go organic, go paid, but you could also buy like a
Yeah.
existing Instagram account. What would you recommend?
So, I mean, if you want to build, I don't see anything wrong with buying an existing account because it already sets you a couple steps forward. And just like I said, even if it already has an audience, as long as that audience is not just something like, if you're an entrepreneur, and if it's like the audience is like a cooking page or something, you don't want to, take on that sort of page. But if it's a page where it's like
Yeah.
entrepreneurial people, I don't see the issue in, buying a page if you can afford it. Of course, I've never bought a page because I, first of all, I was starting with, no money to, begin with. So I couldn't have bought a page. And I also just wanted to take it slow and see what I can do with Instagram. But I don't see the issue with buying a page as long as you're able to turn that around and put your own face and name on it.
Interesting. Let's take one of your hobbies, Nitty. What's something you enjoy doing besides being on Instagram and the internet, stuff like that?
I like to bike. I like to go out. That's why the winter is kind of like, iffy because I'm not able to go out and do all that. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's I
Let's take the biking for example. So I also bike. If I want to start a Instagram page about biking, how would you start that?
So I would probably do a personal brand either way because, if you're able to do a personal brand, then you can like show your biking interest. But if you'd like to do like a theme page about biking, then you could just post a bunch of bikes and post, but it's not as fun. When you do like just posting a bunch of bikes, it's not as fun because it's like you can't show yourself biking. So with a personal brand, you could just be a biking enthusiast and just show, yourself biking every day or videos about biking, post reels, post IGTVs, post videos, post photos. Just every day when you go out to bike, just record yourself. That's pretty much what I would do. It's just, and then promote it through other biking pages.
Okay. Well, that's a quick advice. But and so let's get a little bit into the specifics because okay, so I record myself when I go out. I could maybe share tips on how to, I don't know, change my wheel or whatever. What else? What would be stuff that really works?
So, do you mean like content types, like things that you can branch off of biking?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe
Yeah.
like I'm not like a biking expert, but maybe you could do, how I use biking for like just fun, clearing my head and just fitness. So maybe I would do content on like how long you should bike for to burn this many calories, or what sort of biking techniques can you do to do tricks, or how can you um just videos of me biking. Honestly, I think it's just, but for a person who specifically knows specific things about biking, then they can do like how to change the wheels, like you said, how to, paint a bike, maybe how to, you know, um, how to pick a perfect bike, just things like that.
And you also mentioned, reach out to bigger accounts. How would you find those accounts? What would you ask for? What would you pay?
So you would pretty much, I've seen this with business pages. I'm not sure if they do this with biking pages. I would expect any niche would have this. So that's why I said that. But with a business page, for example, you reach out to some big infographic page, and I'm sure you've seen one. And it's like you can look at like at business mentorship, for example. They have a bunch of business infographics, and you can go in their DMs and go into all the related accounts, and you can search, how to, I mean, hey, do you do paid promotions? And they'll get back to you within like 24 to 48 hours, and they'll give you the prices. Usually these promotions only cost like $50 to reach 1 million follower audiences, which is really, really efficient. Yeah,
Wow.
they're really cheap, and sometimes if you don't want to waste too much cash doing that, like $50 here, $50 here, you can do targeted promotions, but you have to really trust the page. These pages will keep promoting your account until you get the specific followers that you want. I know there's this one page, and he's the guy who runs all five of these other pages. His name is Josh or something, and he can do targeted promotions where he'll promise you 10,000 followers. He'll keep promoting them through his five pages for 10,000 followers, but it costs like a couple grand. So you have to have that money to invest. That's why I don't have the problem to just throw around some cash here and there, because your goal may be lower. You don't know how good the promotions are going to go, so it might bring you a lot of followers to begin with.
Interesting. And so, generally, if you pay $50 for the million follower account, what would that bring you?
So usually, like, if your content is on point, right, the content that they're promoting for you, right, because they have to post a piece of content, tag you, and then say in the caption, follow this person. If the content is on point, you would probably get like 500 to 800 followers, somewhere around there.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. If you calculate the cost benefit, that's pretty good. But then you also have to take into account that you have to create the content. You have to basically give them everything, and they just put it on their
Yeah,
page.
you have to do all that. You have to put the captions in and everything.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. All right. We have our page right now. We're doing some paid promotions. We're getting followers. At what point in time would you start to like monetize that account, or what would be a good point in time to do that? And how would you monetize our biking page?
So a biking page, any page, I would say we could start at like 10K followers. That's when I started to create my new product, and that's when I don't think I launched the product until like 15, 20K, but I would say is around when you reach 10K or plus or more, because below that you just seem a little spammy. You seem like you don't have too much authority, but when people see that 10K, they think you're like a little big, and you have like extra benefits like swipe up feature and all that sort of stuff. So you're able to actually promote the product if you have the swipe up feature and stuff like that. So it's easier, I would say, promote that biking page and start promoting products for it at like 10K or so.
Okay, but then the account we pay $50, they have a million followers. So I guess if we want to do promotions for other accounts, that won't really bring in a lot of cash. What are different ways we could make more money?
So yeah, I mean, it would not bring in too much cash if you didn't have that many followers, especially because people are charging lower prices. If you're able to prove that you have a lot of potential in your page, and your page is like mostly people from either the U.S., Canada, or the Europe. If you're able to prove that those three locations are the top, people are willing to pay you for promotions. But other than that, the ways to make money, you can start, consulting, coaching, even make an ebook, a digital product. You can do affiliate marketing. You can do a bunch of things. Affiliate marketing is probably the way I see a lot of people get started, is they reach out to bigger people who have a product that they like, and they promote that product through their content and everything like that. And other than that, coaching, it also works, because if you are putting out content, you obviously have expertise in something, right? So I would, coach people maybe $100 for an hour, and just teach them something, get testimonials. The more testimonials you get, you can actually build a product based off that consulting service you have to save time, or even a service. And from there, you can just take off with that. It just depends on what your goals are, if everything is long term or not.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I guess when you do affiliate marketing, you put the affiliate link in your bio. And typically, if you have like 10,000 followers, how many people would click on that?
So if you have 10,000
And
followers, there's a lot of profile video visits when you are on Instagram. A lot of people visit your profile. They may not always follow you. You may think like I'm not getting a lot of follows this week. It's either because your content isn't working or if your bio isn't optimized. But other than that, people are always visiting your profile, whether they follow you or not, whether you see it or not. You can go on Insights and see how many profile visits you're getting. But you can also go and see how many website visits you're getting. So they tell you how many people are clicking your links and stuff like that. And even your content insights, it tells you how many people are clicking your link because of that piece of content. So um, when people come on your profile, they usually click the link in your bio. It's as long as the link is convertible, like it converts people, then it's able to actually you'll be able to make money. But yeah, I would say it's pretty efficient. It would be pretty efficient for people with like 10K followers to get lots of affiliate sales without having to put too much effort into it.
interesting. And so just ballpark it. How many clicks would you get if you have like a post daily and have 10,000
So
followers?
post daily, 10,000 followers. I would say in a single day you could get, up to 50 to 100 link clicks. I would probably say, which is pretty good for a 10K follower page. But you can get even more link clicks if you make story highlights. And what I notice a lot is if you have story highlights that demonstrate your expertise or demonstrate the money you're making or demonstrate anything. Like I put my money on there because I want people to see, you know like I'm able to do this and so are you. And if you show people dollar signs, money attracts money, followers attract followers. So when you have a big page, more people want to follow it, right? And when you're making money, more people want to invest money in you to learn that. So I would say if you demonstrate and showcase all your expertise in your story highlights, you'll be able to convert that link in bio even better.
Interesting. And how do story highlights work?
So story highlights work like you would post a story, right, for 24 hours. Then you can create a little story highlight based off the a batch of stories that you want to put in it. You can create a story highlight. So you can just go on your stories and click select or highlight it and they'll show up on your profile in little circles. I'm sure you saw. And you can create covers for them because I don't recommend just having random, story highlights with no color scheme to it. So you go on Canva and you can post based off uh, you can post those story highlights. You can edit the covers and put colors that work for you and make it look creative.
Yeah. So you can combine your stories into a different story, but it sticks to your
Yeah, in more than
page
24 hours.
indefinitely.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow. How many times have you used it, and what have you seen result wise?
So in the beginning, I was really bad with it as anything, but now I'm using it to showcase, money I'm making, showcase results, showcase. Um, let me check my phone. Let me see what else I'm showcasing. But yeah, so I'm showcasing my podcast as well, which is really helping because I'm not always promoting my podcast through my stories. So if people want to come on my page and say, "Hey, she has a podcast," wow, so they would go on it. They can click swipe up, which is also really good benefit because when you have a swipe up on your story, you can also keep the swipe up on your story highlights. So yeah, I'm just showing. I also put a my story story highlight, if that makes sense, so people know who I am
Nope.
instead of like just thinking like, oh, she's just a business infographic page, so they know who I am, know the person behind it. And then my other story highlight is IG Empire, so the new project that's coming up.
Interesting. And can you see people the amount of followers you get through people that watch your story highlight
So yeah, so
as
when
well?
you go to, it's not exactly the story highlights that you can see where how many followers you get, but when you go on your story, you can go to the insights on your story and it'll tell you how many followers you get from that. Usually, a lot of stories don't bring a lot of follows unless you're promoting someone else because it's usually the content that brings you a lot of followers because usually the people who view your stories are usually people who are already followed to you, right? And it's only like 10% of your audience views your stories, so if your numbers aren't that high, it's not really supposed to be. Even pages with like millions of followers are only getting like a portion of their followers viewing their stories. So it's usually only people who are already following you. If they're not already following you, they're viewing it because you put a location in it or a hashtag. And even so, it's sometimes difficult to get followers from story highlights or stories in general.
And then why would you use it?
So I would use it because, stories are show people that you're active, right? If you're not active, people don't want to follow you. So when you're posting stories every 24 hours and when you're posting behind the scenes, this is the type of thing that I would say don't schedule. This is the type of thing where you want to be spontaneous. You want to be able to just, get on your phone and just be like, hey, look what I'm doing. It's like just behind the scenes question and answer. Maybe you want to do things like that, and you would use it to build trust. You want to build trust with your audience, make them loyal fans. If I never used stories, people wouldn't know who I am, because most of my posts are just infographics. I am looking to post my own videos soon and stuff like that going to 2021, but I was being able to build that connection and getting a lot of DMs because people see my face on my stories. People see who I am, my backstory. Sometimes I post random stuff while I'm working, and people feel connected because they're like, wow, you're giving me a behind the scenes on your own life. So they feel connected to that.
Interesting. Thank you, Neti. This was really fun. Where can people find you?
So it's definitely my pleasure. And they could find me on Instagram at Niti Sarran and on Twitter at Niti Sarran.
Thank you very
Of
much.
course, it's my pleasure.